Good morning. Good morning. I hope that I am going live here today. I am Dr. Cindy Stark. It looks like it's thinking about going live. I hope I'm actually live. 4 seconds in. How are y'all doing this morning? I'm coming in live for my Tuesdays at Central. Tuesdays at 10 Eastern. I don't know why I just said that. I have one person on. I can't tell who it is, but hi, welcome. I'm Dr. Cindy Stark. I run the Soul Circle Academy at night as the real Dr. Cindy. And then during the day, and I actually just came back from work to do this live, I am Dr. Stark, a hospitalist here in Gainesville, Georgia, and I take care of people. Hey, Deanne, I take care of people after their surgeries are over. It's been a weird last few months as the COVID cases are going up and down with the Delta variant. All the surgeries were canceled. All elective surgeries were canceled because all of the operating rooms in our hospital had to be converted into ICU rooms to be able to take care of all the patients that were really sick with the Delta variant. So the surgeries are back up and running, thank goodness, and I have patients again. It's a wonderful thing. I'm going to come in here today and talk to you guys very briefly today. It's going to be a short talk today about why you are not broken. So many people, I do believe, I feel like I ask God what message I'm supposed to give each time I come in here to you guys, and which one will help the most of His people. And one thing that came through very clear this week is that people are judging themselves and feeling like they're broken for the different patterns of behaviors that they get into. I know for me personally, I had belief systems in my subconscious brain. I had no idea that I had them, but that marriage had to be hard, that that no nothing worth having in life was there. Hey, Michelle, nothing worth having in life was there unless you're willing to work really hard. So basically, the only way that you can get anything in life that you want is through a crap ton of really hard work. And that I do believe that got instilled to me because my dad was born and raised as a tobacco farmer, and then my mom, she was her mother raised her kind of in the middle of the Great Depression, and so everything was just full of hardships. And so I subconsciously, with no conscious intention whatsoever, made everything in my life hard. I only did things if they were really, really hard. Hey, Jenny. Hey, Pat. I didn't think you were going to be able to make it. And, if something was easy, I just didn't even think it had any value to it. And if you rested, if I let myself rest, I thought that I was lazy. And, that unfortunately was a really, really negative pattern and belief system that I was raised on personally. I don't know who else was raised to think that if you were listening to your body and needed rest, that was lazy. That, if you ever complained of being bored, in my home of origin, my dad, if you ever uttered those words, I am bored. Hey, Allison, good morning. It's so good to have everybody here. My dad would say, I'll give you something so you can't be bored. And he would give you like about 3 hours of manual labor. You just were not allowed to rest. You weren't allowed to take a break. You weren't allowed to say you were bored. And so I just learned really early on that in order to avoid punishment, manual labor punishment, you had to not speak up for what was truly going on in your in your body if you needed rest or if you were bored. And then marriage told her that. And then also, if you needed a rest, you were going to get in trouble you were going to get punished by more hard work. And I think about that, and I'm this Soul Circle Academy that I run at night with therealdrcindy.com. It's my website. You can go on there and to see a little bit more about it. One of the things, and I always say that I'm one of my best students because I do the work every single week along with my clients, and all of us that are certified practitioners, we have to do the work to keep all this clear in our subconscious mind. And I'm going to get into that a little bit more into my talk this morning. But what I had to do was tell myself that you don't have to have everything be hard. Things can be easy. You don't have to hustle and effort yourself to death. And nothing against men, but I feel like we in America have had this patriarchal system of hustle, 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 go, 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 efforting ourselves to death. And what I learned as a child, and it was um, no fault of my dad. He was raised on a tobacco farm, and his mother and father literally had kids for one reason and one reason only. It wasn't because they loved each other. It wasn't because they wanted to instill these beautiful, values of theirs onto the set of the next generation. They had kids to be farmhands, and that was it. And they lived poorer than the worst poverty level people in today's time could. My father did not brush his teeth until he was 12 years old, until his mother died, and he had to go live with someone else in his family. She died in childbirth. They had no medical care, so she was given birth to one of his baby brothers or sisters, and she and the baby died in the field. And so he wore burlap clothes, burlap sacks as clothes. He literally had no money, and all they did was work, work, work. And the more farm hands they could have as children, the more profit they could have on their tobacco crop. So he taught me, you can't be bored, or I'm going to give you manual labor to do. You can't take a rest. You have to wake up in the morning, and it's even if you have nothing to do, you have to wake up at like 6 7 and start doing something productive, or you would get in trouble. So I think that he came by that very naturally. He was not meaning to punish any of us, and he didn't know what he was doing. But what it did to me is it created, from a very early age, extreme sickness, because I always wanted to please my dad. I'm a people pleaser by nature, and I'm like I said, I'm one of my best clients. I'm actively working to get that out of my belief system every single week, and because I don't want that driving the train, of my life, to be a people pleaser, because then I never do what's good for Cindy's heart. And so I was very sick from the day I was born, just ridden with horrible allergies, and had to get allergy shots and all this stuff. I had all kinds of problems. I had to get ear surgery, almost had to get bladder surgery. I mean, just all these crazy things that I had that I should not have had as a child, I don't think. But I was just working too hard. And up until I was probably 27 years old, I would get sick twice a year with mono. Hey, Pat and I went to elementary school together. I mean, I met him in elementary school, and then we went to school all the way together till we graduated high school. Anyway, so yeah, I was just always getting sick with strep throat, always getting sick with mono, different things like that, and it just didn't have to be that way. And so I'm here, not until I probably went through 30 years of traditional medical therapy and psychology therapy, and paid all these co-pays and insurance and all these prescription drugs, and all these different people were wanting to what do doctors have in their hands? When you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. That's what I always say. What we have in our toolbox are surgeries and pills. And so you come to us, we're going to tell you the only thing that we know that we were trained to do, and that's to prescribe you pills, counseling, surgery, different things like that. And none of that gets to the root cause of what's causing the sickness that you see way down here. Like, let's just say this is the continuum, and you're really sick over here. You have recurrent strep throat. They're trying to get you to have your tonsils out. You have anxiety that started way over here, and the anxiety has happened in so many years that now you have shingles. And so what I'm going to do, give you a prescription for that. Or the anxiety started over here, and then this many decades later, it's turned into reflux esophagitis. So they're going to do esophageal surgery so that you stop having food get stuck in your throat all the time. Well, does that ever fix the problem that was the cause of it all along? So you can fix this problem, and 10 years later, more of the neurotransmitters are going to get crazy out of whack, and you're going to be with the same problem. I hope I'm making sense here to everybody. Hey, Tammy, it's good to have you here. I don't know if MO is Montana or Missouri. Excuse my ignorance. I never could remember all those M states. But yeah, if you're catching me live here today, put hashtag live. And if you're catching me on the replay, hit hashtag replay. And y'all tell me where you're from, because I would love to see where everybody is that's listening to me this morning. And it's just my passion and my honor to try to help people here in this day and age learn some of the knowledge that I have learned over the 30 years of being in the medical field and still not getting any true healing. I just told a group of doctors the other day, I became a doctor at age 29, and then I got board certified and started practicing at 32 independently. And it wasn't until about 10 years into that, 10, 15 years into that, that I realized I'm just really not helping anybody truly get healthy. I'm not, the tools I have don't bring about true health. And so many people are, they're relying on us because we're the ones that are the most educated with the most letters behind our name, and none of the things that we're doing are really helping anybody get better. And so I happened across, after my 10th bout of driving myself literally up the wall with burnout and more marital problems than you can shake a stick out and shake a stick at, and then also just lack of self-belief, I finally ran across these tools of inner child matrix therapies. And the minute that I saw how they could, yay, okay, Allison's from Chicago, thank you. And the minute I found out how much healing that these tools can do, I got certified in them immediately. And I'm bringing the trainings and the learnings that I've learned through the years to you guys, so that y'all don't have to suffer for 30 years like I did. So that y'all can come in here if you just want to do it piece by piece, or if you want to dive right in and just rewire your entire mind so that you can live the life that you want to. You can take a deep dive into I have a group and one-on-one coaching program. It's called the Soul Circle Academy, and it's 12 weeks, and we just get everything done. It's a very intensive work, but I tell you one thing that's more intensive work is living in this hell that we're all living in. Again, driving ourselves up the wall, thinking that we're broken, having these patterns of behavior be on repeat that we're not, it's not even what we want to have happen in our life. I have one of my clients who had this, and I won't name any names, but had this dysfunctional childhood, and then she had a dysfunctional marriage, and she finally left the marriage, and then she came all the way across the entire country. And she was just sharing with me last night that she felt like out of everybody that she could choose to live with in the state where she ended up going to, it had the exact same patterns of behavior that her husbands were driving her crazy about. And so, she did it with a family member, and now she's doing it with a roommate. And thank goodness she's in my program now, and she's gotten rid of all of these self-limiting beliefs and emotions that were driving that pattern of behavior. And so now she's going to actually be able to see, for once and for all, other options of people that are out there that she can room with. Or maybe find a place that was always there all along that she was literally unable to see, and she'll be able to live on her own. So I want to tell you guys what we think happens, all right? What we think happens, and I'm going to tell you what really happens. So what we think happens in our mind is that everything around us gets presented to our eyes, and it bypasses our conscious brain, our frontal lobe, our critical factor, and it gets stored in our subconscious just as it appears naturally. So everything comes in, and we store it as in our subconscious mind as memories, and then we can access all the exact correct data at will. Hey, Donna from Dahlonega. But actually, that is not what happens. What actually happens is when our environment gets presented to our eyes, it bypasses the thinking brain, and before it is stored in our subconscious mind, it goes through the filtering system called the reticular activating system. And our subconscious mind it does two things. It deletes, generalizes, and distorts accurate data that's right here, and it does it to match our belief systems that are already back there in the filtering system, okay? Our societal programming, our parental programming, our educational programming, our religious programming. And so whatever it is, those specific unique traumas that have colored your filtering system, okay? Everything, let's just say there's 100 pieces of data, all right? The only ones that get stored in our subconscious minds are the ones that go through that unique trauma pattern of the filtering system called your reticular activating system. And the only ones that make it back there, let's just say 2 out of 100 make it back there. And there were the only 2 out of 100 that matched our screwed up filtering system. Then that gets stored, and then when we need to recollect it, then it goes through. Our frontal lobe still hasn't been activated yet in any of these storing of our memories. And then and only then when we want to remember it, or we want to think about what it is that we need to think about, then it gets back up through here for our for us to get a hold of. And I hope that makes sense. I went into a lot more detail, a whole 30-minute talk at the very beginning, one of the first 2 or 3 that I did just on that. But anyway, So I just want y'all to realize that if something is not going the way that you want it to in your life, you're not broken. It's because of messed up belief systems and really just a gunked up filter. It's the only way I can put it. One of my clients says her RAS is infected, and that's another way to think about it. But what we do in my program is we clean out the gunk and the filters one by one by one. We get rid of every negative emotion that our influences, and our influences are a person, place, or a thing, coupled with a strong emotion that goes and starts the matrix in our brain of the filter, okay? So we influence by influence by influence, we clear all the negative emotions from that stem from each one of those influences in our life. And some of my clients have 6 negative influences and some of them have 30 negative influences. And we do it as many times as it needs to get rid of all the damage that's been done. And it can be positive or negative. They can be positive or negative influences, but still it's created this warped sense of reality, is no other way to put it. And so we go through influence by influence, and then we go through emotion by emotion. So we go through anger, sadness, fear, guilt, and then any of the other 2 that you might be suffering with is usually abandonment and judgment, things like that. And then after we clear all of the different emotions, then in my program we do one-on-one calls with me or one of my coaches. After we do one-on-one calls for the emotions, then we do the actual belief systems, and then the whole thing falls. It's like the belief systems, we pull like a linchpin where everything above it falls down, and then this is clear and free to actually see and store reality as it is in real reality instead of the distorted reality. Always say we literally are living figments of our imagination, because the only thing that we are capable of seeing are things in our environment that match that filtering system, because our subconscious mind deletes or distorts or generalizes everything else that doesn't fit that. And a way that I can prove to you, that's right, Michelle, that is actually happening is just think about if you have, you're looking for a pair of sunglasses and they're right on the top of your head, or a pair of keys and they're right in your hand. Well, your brain doesn't realize that that's important, so it deletes it right out of your conscious mind, and you're looking all around the place for your keys or your sunglasses, and they're right on your body. And then until you like snap out of it and realize, oh yeah, it's right there, then you don't even realize that it's there. So again, all of this that our bodies are doing, our bodies are driven by our brain, and our brains are the very first things that God created in our body. The very first thing that was developed was the neural tube, and that's our whole entire body was built in embryonic development because of our neural tube, and that's what turns into our brain and our central and our central and parasympathetic nervous system. So until you learn how to actually work your brain, you're really kind of, I see it as you're shooting yourself in your own foot, or you're kind of like taking yourself out at your knees, and you think that you're doing everything that you can to live the kind of life that you want to live. But all you really have access to on a conscious level is the 4% of your mind that is your conscious mind. And then there's this whole other 96% of it, right, is your subconscious mind. And that's what's really running the show, because that is how our brains were designed to work. And you might think, well, why in the world would God want us to live like that, to keep repeating these patterns that are driving us crazy? Well, it's because our biggest core need as humans, and the biggest job of the subconscious mind, is to keep us safe. And so the only way that our brains can possibly know that something is safe is if it's something that we've gone through before. And so that's why I believe that we were designed that way. And only when you can really take control and command of your subconscious mind can you prove to yourself and let all this back here know you don't have to be safe right now, that change is good, change is safe. And then you start going in there and clearing out all the lies, and then you give yourself emotional availability so you can live your life the way that you want to live your life. And what we do is we walk you through this process in my program, and you have a one-on-one coach, and they're there to hold your hand every step of the way. And we have a group component because there's so much power in group and in community. And you can learn more in one call of the group than you can, in my opinion, one group call, you can learn more than 4 or 5 months of individual therapy, because you realize that there are patterns that are unique, that they're not unique to you. They're shared by a lot of other people. And even if you're not the one doing the talking and speaking from your conscious mind, your conscious memory, when you can hear things go on in other people that are similar to you, and you realize that you're not alone here, it's just like all the walls break down, and you become very, very open and able to see your problems for what they really are. And you don't, and if you are having a hard time not judging yourself, or not shaming yourself to death, then this will really help you, because there are other people in here going through the exact same things that you are. So again, I wanted just to kind of tell you a way that a process that we go through, and I'm just going to walk you through it right now on how you can truly live the life that you want, and get yourself out of the shame cycle. And it's to really get to know yourself and get to know your emotions, and your emotions and your belief systems are there to teach you something. So the other day I was really, really avoiding something I needed to do at work, and it was just seeming tedious, and I didn't want to put myself out there, and it was really causing me some stress, because I didn't want to do something wrong. And so what you do is you close your eyes, and I'm trying to figure out, I'm just going to kind of walk you through this, how it happened with me. And you can do this process on your own. It takes less than 5 minutes. And so you close your eyes, and you ask yourself, all right, so that this time it was fear. I'm like, all right, fear, what are you trying to tell me? I know that you're here for me, you're here for my good. And I just really sit there, and I try to imagine where I feel the fear in my body. And we get you to do this in our program too, okay? But I'm just kind of walking you through it right now with myself. So the fear last week, it was presenting itself. It was feeling like a dark black hole with spikes in it, kind of like in my stomach. And what it was trying to tell me, and you have to, not, most people aren't used to talking to your emotions, and you're not even used to really paying attention to what's going on in you in the first place. A lot of people are just really afraid of what feeling their emotions are going to do, and I'm just here to tell you. And if you need to borrow my confidence in this until you can have confidence in your own, just know that the emotions, you might be afraid of what they're going to feel like when you actually process them and you go through them, but it's causing you so much more damage to deny those parts of yourself. And just trust me on that. So I was asking the fear, what are you trying to protect me from? And I remembered, and we'll do this in the program. You remember the first time that you felt that fear, and it was trying to protect me from being embarrassed. Okay, this is kind of funny, but the very first time at that point last week that I could remember being embarrassed and just how horrible it was is when I was in third grade, and I was at BC Haney, and I had a teacher named Miss Stump, and we had gotten back from lunch, and we were getting ready to watch a movie, and I said really loud and obnoxiously, "Turn the lights off, Miss Stumpy." And her name is Miss Stump, and she said, "Cindy Buckner, go out into the hall right now." And I had to sit out there, and every other third grade class were coming in from lunch. And so everybody saw me sitting out there in that hallway, and I was so embarrassed. And that's what that fear was last week, that was keeping me from doing that one job on my to-do list, was keeping me from. It was protecting me from being embarrassed, because that embarrassment was so painful and just mortifying, right? I mean, the whole class saw me getting in trouble. And so then you ask yourself, so you say, where do you feel it? You allow yourself to feel it. You describe what it feels like. And then you tell yourself, I know that you are here to help me. And so you honor that feeling, you acknowledge it, and you ask it, what does it need to say to you? And at that time, it was here to serve me by saying, you don't want to be embarrassed, and getting yourself out there, right? Doing that job on the to-do list was going to be really putting myself out there. And I didn't want to be judged, because I'd been judged so harshly when I was in third grade. And then you ask it, well, what do you what does the emotion say to you? What does the emotion want to say to you? And these, again, these are conversations we've never had in our lives, but we teach you, step by step how to do this. So last week, what that emotion was wanting to say to me, the embarrassment was wanting to say to me, is just be your third grade self, Cindy, and just, it's okay to be loud and proud and obnoxious. And then at the time, I just saw, I just had a vision of myself twirling in my dress. Okay, I know there's some guys on the call today, but girls, you probably remember when we were in third grade. Some of the times we the only reason we chose the different dresses that we bought were just what kind of a circle that it would twirl. What it would make when we would twirl. And so that's what the embarrassment wanted to say to me at that time, is just, it's okay to be loud. It's okay that you're excited. It's okay that you were being silly, and just go twirl. And so anyway, if you can't go and twirl or do whatever it is that the emotion was telling you that it wants you to do at the time, if you can't do it right then you make yourself a promise. Okay, 8-year-old Cindy, I promise you at 8 p.m. tonight, I will go outside and I will twirl and just make you happy. And what that teaches you to do, it might sound really silly, but if you keep going through the process, you'll understand just how amazing this process is it teaches you that. So I was at once getting paralyzed from doing that job on my to-do list. And what I needed was to just go and be myself and be my true authentic self and just go outside and dance. And that's literally what I did. And then I was able to, okay, I got that out. And now it's okay if I put myself out there and if somebody wants to judge me, because Cindy is resourcing herself. And what that does is it teaches you don't have to rely on everybody else in the world. You don't have to people please. You're here to help yourself, and it teaches you a heck of a lot of self-trust and self-reliance. And so I hope that helps everybody. That's a little bit of the process we go through, and you can do it like on your own, just, literally in the time span of like 5 minutes. And I just want you to know that if you're struggling with, again, just being stuck in your stinking thinking and in your emotions that aren't serving you any good and the beliefs that certainly aren't serving you any good, just know that you're human and that your brain is acting exactly as God intended it. And it's to keep you safe, because our subconscious mind says that change is not safe. And so what we do in the Soul Circle Academy is that we just teach you how to really expand what it is that you can do in your life that will still hold you safe and makes you know that you can trust yourself, you can rely on yourself. And if you're tired of living your life like in a repetitive Groundhog Day, just reach out to someone on our team. I'll drop the link below, but essentially you just go to the website, therealdrcindy.com/apply. And if you don't want to do the work and you're not ready to do the work to actually get in there and really know yourself and feel all the emotions and get all of the damaging effects that they've been doing for you for decades, if you're not ready to get that out of your system and you just want to take it step by step, just keep coming back here. I promise I'm going to keep coming back here too, every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll help you at least know some aspects about your brain so that you can start driving that train, okay? Because none of us know this. No one teaches this. No doctor or psychologist does. There's only about 15 people in this whole country that are certified in these therapies. And we are here, all of us, or most of us, I think all of us, 15, have gone through a lot of trauma in our lives. And we had just gotten to the point where we were so sick and tired of being affected by our negative patterns of behavior. And so we found a way out, and we're just here just reaching that hand down, and you just have to reach your weak hand up and we'll grab you out of that pit and out of that quagmire, because life is just meant to be enjoyed, and you're supposed to have the power to act. And you're just, again, completely inhibited from acting at all if you don't know how to run your brain. And so it's my pleasure and honor to be here with you guys. I'll be here next Tuesday at 10 also. And again, just go in and book a call with me, and we'll just see if you're ready. If you're not ready, I will send you to a ton of resources and to someone else who can help you. But it is my absolute passion and privilege to help end this cycle of self-destructive behavior one person at a time. So again, you guys, I love being here with you guys this morning. I hope this is helping you. I hope I've encouraged you. And if there's anything else you have to ask, just drop a question below and I'll answer it the next time I come in here. But y'all have a great Tuesday and take care. I love you all so much.